I gotta discuss something really important, man. I've been watching news. I've been watching social media, and I've seen a lot of women are obviously upset about the overturning the rules of Roe v. Wade being overturned. A lot of women out here having these protests, throwing their signs up saying "My body, my choice." That their rights have been stripped and their constitutional right. I find it very hypocritical with these females that they will feel as if they are the only one that play a role in having that child being born. What about the father? It's not only her body. That child belongs to both the father and the mother. So how can it be her body, her choice when that child doesn't only belongs to her? Without the father, without the seed, you don't produce life. And my only problem with this, well, not the only problem, I have several issues with these hypocritical women that are having these protests about, oh, it's my constitutional right to decide what I want to do with my own my own fetus. My issue with this is a baby didn't ask to be born. Why you didn't make the decision to close your legs if you never want to take on that responsibility of being a parent? Why would you make that decision to not close your legs? If you don't want to deal with the responsibilities that come with being a parent, you should close your legs. You shouldn't go out there having hot girl summer, living your best life now, sleeping around with many men, and then when you end up getting pregnant and reality hits you straight in the face, because a lot of these women, they don't live in reality. They don't want to deal with the repercussions of the decision. Now they want to take the easy way out, abort a child that didn't ask, first of all, didn't ask to be born. It was forced against his will to come and to come to being. Now, when you make that decision to go out there and live reckless and out here sleeping with any type of man, now when reality hits you, you don't want to take on that responsibility to decide to make that decision that you have to become a parent. Now, with this Roe v. Wade decision being overturned, you have all these women having these protests talking about my body, my choice. It's not a right for the Supreme Court to decide what happens to my body. But the baby doesn't only belong to you. Fucking self-centered pieces of shit. It's absolutely selfish to believe that you're entitled to decide what happens to the baby when the baby was made by two individuals. A man and a woman decide to get together and mate with each other to produce a child. You didn't just decide to have a baby out of nowhere and the baby just grow in your womb like that. You made that decision to lay up with a man, and you were in you weren't conscious of your decision. You tell me you wasn't aware that the fact that there's a chance of you getting pregnant. It's like accountability is like kryptonite to these modern women. They don't want to be held accountability. They don't want to be held accountable for their bad choices, and that's why I'm all in agreement for the Roe versus Wade, Roe v. Wade decision, because now it's gonna cause these modern women to be held accountable for their decisions. Now they have to be more conscious of their choices, and they can't just be out here living their best life now, sleeping with any type of man, and just not being held responsible for their poor decisions. And at the same time, men who are out here sleeping with more than one woman now have to be better. They have to be smarter with with who they deal with. And if a baby is fully healthy, can you imagine? Just think about the odds of you being born alone. It's like one in a trillion. Like it's like barely like it's like so insignificant. Like you beat out all these odds to make it, and then there's also the possibility if you not even make it to full terms, because something could go wrong. a child is healthy, it doesn't have any health issues, it's completely unjust for a mom to for a woman to decide, oh, I don't want to carry this baby to full term because I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to take on the responsibility of raising a child now because it's gonna take a lot out of my free time to go out and party and do what I want to do and be a strong, independent black woman and do what I'm happy I normally do. These women are living in a fantasy world, man. And I'm glad that this decision was put into effect because it's telling these women, you have to be responsible for the decisions you make. And now they're held accountability. There's a sense of accountability that needs to, happen in order for things to change. Approximately like millions of child, especially black babies, have been aborted by these women. They're literally committing mass genocide. About 11 million babies have been aborted. Black babies have been aborted by black women. And these are generation of kids that could have been physicists, scientists, athletes. That could have been, God had a purpose for these kids. But you turn your back against God and rebelled against his will for their life and what he wanted them to fulfill on this earth, and you went ahead and abort the child. God is not pleased with these modern women and the decision they're doing, and God is definitely in control of this. And these women out here protesting and having all these fits and everything, they are in for a rude awakening because God is not pleased. God is not mocked. Whatever you sow, you will also reap. Now think about it. How many potential kids could have been like a leader that could have changed the world for the better? That could have made a difference on this earth. You weren't even given a chance. Imagine you beat out all those sperms, billions of sperm, to reach that egg. The odds of you being born are so freaking infinitely small that is nearly impossible. But yet you still made it through. You beat out all the trials of making it to full term. When you're ready to be born, your mom decides to end it. That's committing. Isn't that a murder in the womb? That's what it is. If there's no complications that are coming out of the pregnancy, there is no reason for a child to be aborted. Especially when a mother is out here, when you have these women, these modern day women that are living recklessly, don't take any accountability for any decisions they make. They're sleeping with any type of man. They're out here having their best life now, hot girl summer, just going out there. And now it's like a sport to some of these women. I'm glad they put a stop to this shit because there are actually women out here that are intentionally aborting their child because they don't want to be responsible for raising that child, and they want to actually have fun and just go out there and be sleeping with multiple men, and they want to repeat the same process over and over again. So there are women who intentionally will abort a child each and every year. This is some sick shit, and God is not pleased. So God, in His mercy, God is a just God, and He stood in place for those child because they don't have a voice. They cannot prevent their mom from aborting them. They don't have a voice. They don't have any say in what goes on. Now God is speaking up for the voiceless because these babies didn't ask to be born. It takes two to tango. So I'm all in for the Roe v. Wade decision. The only exception to the rule is if a child was being conceived through rape or incest or some type of genetic abnormalities will come out of the pregnancy. But even through those exceptions, a child can still be given up for adoption. I believe, as crazy as it sounds, every life has a meaning. Every life has a value. Who are we to? Who are not we? Who are these women to decide that a life doesn't have value? God, God had a purpose on. I know He ordained a purpose on these babies. Like on each soul that came on that was supposed to be born had a purpose, had a mission, had something to fulfill on this earth. And who are these modern women in their arrogance to say these little souls don't have a value? They're just a little cell. They're not considered a living thing. You serious? So when we all was conceived in our mother's womb, and we formed from a small zygote into a blastoid, I forgot the name of it, where it's developed into multiple cells, and then it ends up becoming a fetus. You tell me at that stage we were not considered living beings? We all were conceived the exact same way, for generation to generations. So if anything, we would not be considered a living being too, because we all went through the same process of development into our full self. So these modern women are not, they're playing with God. They're literally playing God. Because, like I said, it doesn't take her only to create that child. And the mess up thing about it. You got babies out here. You got fathers, out here that want to step up to the plate and be a father and take on that responsibility of raising that child. And the woman will be vindictive towards the father. And what she will do in a very spiteful way is that she will abort the child to prevent him from even, and he has no say in it. He really can't prevent her from doing that because according to her, it's her body or choice, even though it's not only her that played a role in creating that child. How can how can that even be considered fair according to biology? You know what I'm saying? How can that even be considered? Because if anything, it's the father that determines the gender of the child. It's a sperm that have to travel through the uterus, have to be have to do all this to travel to the egg and to fertilize the egg, and everything has to go according to plan. The timing has to be right. Everything, the gestation, everything has to work according to plan for that child to be born. If the father did not inseminate the woman, the child will not come forth. The egg, if it's not fertilized by sperm, the egg, it it gets released, and then a woman has a period, and the child doesn't come forth. So the father plays a huge role in bringing that child to life. So a woman doesn't have any say in this. She doesn't have any say what happens with that child because she's not the only person that played a role in bringing that child to life. So the point I'm trying to make is this: it's absolutely asinine to me that these women have a sense of entitlement when it comes on to what they should decide what goes on with this with the baby that's being born inside their womb when they're not the only one who play a role in bringing that child into life. And if they are adult enough to go out there and open their legs to Pookie and Ray Ray or sleep around with random men, they should be adult enough to take on that responsibility of raising that child. Like they don't want to be accountable for their decisions. Now, they're a woman now, they gotta be more mindful of the choices they make because for every action there's a reaction. Everything for every cause there's an effect. And if you are out here doing whatever you want, you got to be held accountable for your decision. And you got these women having all these protests saying their rights have been stripped away. What about the rights of the child? A child cannot speak for itself and say, "You're why would you murder me?" A child cannot defend themselves. But somebody have to step up, and God is upset because these women are really rebelling against His creation. Because the purpose of us is to be fruitful and multiply. God created us for a purpose, and these black women are literally killing a generation of mighty women and men and women that could change this world, and our race is dying out because of that. So I'm happy for that decision to be made because now we have a generation of young men and women who are going to be born, that's going to sustain us as people and bring forth generations of leaders and magnificent people that can change the whole landscape of where we are right now. There, I'm sure there was a person that was aborted that could have completely changed the whole dynamic of how we live. Could have been an inventor. Could have made a huge invention that completely changed people's life. You know how much scientists, how much doctors, how much brilliant men and women, superb athletes that could have just blown out athletes out the window, athletes that could have just did remarkable things that even blow our minds away. That's even better than athletes we know now. That could have just, you know what I mean? The possibilities are endless. That could have completely changed the culture. Artists, innovators, great thinkers, people that had a purpose, people that had a calling on their life. But unfortunately was aborted because the mom, she didn't want to bring that baby to full term. It's literally a mass. It's I don't even got no word to describe. I don't even got words to describe how evil you can be to see a baby being ready to be being born, conceived in your womb. You went through the whole stages of of pregnancy, going through the emotional stress, and now you don't want to be responsible because you want to run away from that because you're afraid of being a mother, and now you want to abort the child. How ridiculous it is. So that's why I'm all for the decision of Roe v. Wade. I really believe God was in control of this whole situation. We have to do better as a nation. Um, this has nothing to do with if you're Democrat or Republican. It's not what side you fit, what political party you're affiliated with. This is a basic human right. It's basic common sense. Like, how is it that a woman can say is her constitutional right is being stripped because the government is enforcing the abortion or enforcing the ban on abortion, right? But yet the child don't have any say if in that, and it's a living being because while it's in the womb being developed, God is, it has its own personality, its own characteristics, and God has ordained that child for a specific purpose. So you cannot tell me it's just a blob or a set of cells that don't have any meaning. Because we all started the same when we were in our mother's womb. When we were conceived in our mother's womb, we all started the same. So if you're saying that child's not a living thing, we're not considered a living thing then because we all were conceived the same way. So that doesn't even make sense. So that's the reason why I'm all in it for support of, the Roe v. Wade decision. I have yet to meet someone that can counteract my points. I've had debates with people I've known, like friends. I had debates with people I've known through college, work. I've had debates with a lot of people, and they none of them can hold their ground against me, because I come with facts. I come with statistics. I come with stuff that just makes common sense. People are in their emotions, and when you deal with somebody that's emotional and they acting out of impulse, they're not really gonna bring anything that's gonna be of. They're not gonna bring something that makes sense or have any type of merit when it comes on to what they think is right or wrong, because it's basic common sense. All right, if you don't want to, right? If you don't want to have a child, then don't fucking sleep around. Simple as that. Close your legs. But we know, especially these modern women now, they're sleeping around like crazy. Now we live in a thought culture. These modern women, you got the Megan Thee Stallions, you got the Cardi B's, you got the Nicki Minaj's that enforces and endorses the thought culture, right? So now women out here sleeping and having sex with multiple men, but they don't want to take on that responsibility of being a parent. But you're adult enough to go out there and sleep with any type of man, but yeah, you don't want to be responsible as a mother. Now they got to be held accountable for their decision. So the point I'm trying to make is this: we live in a society where people have a sense of entitlement, and I just can't stand it. How these modern women think they're entitled. They have a sense of entitlement, so they play the victim all the time. So you're telling me there's nothing wrong with these women aborting the fetus, literally committing murder in the womb. But they want to act like, oh, it's my business what I go out there and decide what I want to do with my own life. But you want to go out there and sleep, whore around. Like I said, we live in the thought culture, right? Where Megan Thee Stallion, the Cardi B's, the Nicki Minaj's, these type of females that are encouraging these women to live your best life now. Go out there, party, have fun, sleep with any type of man you want. You know, don't settle down with one man. Don't start a family. The black community is in shambles, man. Our own community is in shambles because the culture that we are in are surrounded by it's teaching the destruction of our youth, because young women nowadays are not even planning to start a family, are not even planning to be married. They don't want to settle down with one man. They're going from one man to the next to the next. So it's like there's nothing stable in the relationship. They don't even want to have a relationship. At this point, it's not even worth marrying these women now. It's not even worth marrying these modern women. They're not marriage material because they're not even in the essence of who they are as women. They're not feminine. They want a traditional woman, a traditional man. They want a man that is traditional, that's gonna be there, support them, right? Financially, have a sense of security, right? They want to have a sense of security. They want the man to be there to provide for them, but they don't want to be traditional in their role. They don't want to be feminine, cooperative. They don't want to be fit. A lot of these women are out of shape. A lot of them are overweight. They're not living up to their traditional role as a woman, but they want you as a man to fit those traditional roles. And at the same time, they expect you to go out your way to try to get their validation when it's supposed to be other way around. Because a man's supposed to be the head of the household. Everything is just upside down, man. The man is not the head of the household anymore. It's the woman that's flipping the script now. And now we live in a world where a woman feel like she could do bad all by herself. So I'm a strong, independent black woman. Okay, if you're a strong, independent black woman, why are you not strong enough to take on that responsibility of raising that child? I thought you was a strong, independent black woman. You always want to play. They always want to play the victim. They always want to act like they're the one that's going through everything, and then they're playing. Basically, they don't want to take on that responsibility. I thought there was a strong, independent black woman. You get me? What I'm saying is like it doesn't make any logical sense. So this whole decision with this Roe v. Wade, it really comes down to it. If a woman doesn't want to deal with a child, wear contraceptives. Why you don't why you don't have sex without why you have sex without condom if you don't want to have a child? I thought this is just basic knowledge that you should know from even high school or even middle school. These are basic knowledge you should know. If you don't want to have a child, practice safe sex. But we know these modern women are not practicing safe sex because we live in a thought culture. Like they are embracing the thought culture because we don't got female musicians, like especially the hip hop culture now. It's filth. It's filth. It's literally filth, man. You got on the male side that's the rap music. What does the message behind rap music? It's about being a thug, killing, robbing, stealing, selling drugs. It really doesn't preach the message of us people building our community. It's literally destroying our community. And then on the female side, the music endorses women going out there and being whores. Look at the music videos, man. It's absolutely filthy. So indoctrinating these young women to being promiscuous, and it's telling them, oh, you're a strong, independent black woman. You could do whatever you want. But then when they end up going out there and sleeping around and they getting pregnant by Pookie and Ray Ray, now all of a sudden they're not a strong, independent black woman. I thought you could do it all by your own. You got woman power, right? So if you're independent, if you're strong, independent black woman, you're strong enough to take care of a child. That's my thing that I have an issue with, because it's pure hypocrisy. It's pure hypocrisy. That's why I support the v. Wade decision, because it's gonna hold these women accountable. If you don't want to deal with raising a child, if you don't want the responsibility of raising a child, close your fucking legs. Don't go out there sleeping around with guys and settle down with one man, a good quality man. But most of these women, they don't want to settle down with a good quality man. We already seen what happened with Laurie Harvey. I mean, she's like an example of multiple women out here. When they're in their 20s, they want to have fun. They want to have hot girl summer. They want to live their best life now. They don't want to actually settle down with a decent quality man and start a family. I mean, a man could literally try to be committed to that woman and say, I want to start a family. I want you to be my wife. And they're going to say you locking them down. So it's like, damn if you do, damn you don't. And then you don't. And then the thing that's crazy about it, some of these women rather be single mothers than actually have the father being there in the child's life and raising the child. So actually, it's a lot of this. It's just this function that's taking control of our community. It's like literally our community is in this. It's like it's in shambles, because what's happening nowadays is, all right, majority of women are black women are having kids out of wedlock. So most of these child are being born into single mother's household, and then there's not a father figure that's actually being there raising the child. And a lot of women are preventing the fathers from even being in the child's life, because a lot of these women are out here sleeping and having multiple baby daddies. And you get what I'm saying? So it's like this, something needs to change. Like, the culture in itself is very messed up, my opinion. There's a lot of things that is going on that's causing the disenfranchisement within our culture, because the women don't want to be women, and some men are out here just they're being reckless with their decisions too. So there's like both sides of the fence. It's like you got the thug culture that is literally what this music promotes, and the musicians that, like, the message of like unity, the positive message that actually is supposed to be out there and help people, they don't get as much radio attention as the music that promotes negativity. Literally, what I noticed about the black community, it's like they embrace the negativity, man. There really is. And that's why there's so much confusion within our own race, because you got so much people that are being born into broken homes, and literally women that are not capable of being mothers. But now, with this decision, they're gonna have to take on that responsibility of being a mother. But at the same time, people are gonna still go out there and do what they want to do. I feel like there's still more things that needs to change, because the culture itself needs to change. Like the music, what the message, and all this stuff needs to change, in my honest opinion. Because I feel like the message that it promotes is not good for our people. It really isn't, because our people are suffering. Literally, our people are crying out for help. Like, if you have fathers are very important, a big part of raising a family. You need a father figure. But these women don't even want the father to be in. The government has replaced the father now. What essentially happened is that the government has took the position and the authority from the father, and has supplemented that with welfare, with alimony, child support, and what what goes on now is that women only see these children as meal tickets. So either one, they don't want to take on the responsibility of being a mother for these kids. Two, they're using these kids as a meal ticket. It doesn't make any logical sense to me, honestly. So this is why there needs to be some type of check and balances in this thing, because there's too many kids that are being aborted, have been aborted for years now, that could have literally changed the world, could have made a difference in our community and really helped us as people. Future generations, that just lineage just die off like that, man. That's just, it's sickening. That's my that's the way I see it. I'm not going to change my opinion. I'm standing firm in what I believe in. I've yet to meet someone that can challenge my notion of what I believe in this when it comes on to the Roe v. Wade decision. Like, I have yet to meet anyone that can challenge any of the stuff I bring up. When I bring up these points and I speak with authority, and I speak with just like I know what I'm saying. People don't really want to talk. They say, I don't want to talk anymore. Just change the subject. Because when people know, when they can't really win a topic, they really can't bring anything that's actually factual. And they're all emotional. They all get in their feelings. Because really, what it comes down to is selfish, being selfish. A lot of these modern women, majority of them are selfish. So you want to have your cake and eat it too. So what they want to basically do, they want to go out there and party, live their best lifestyle, and they want to do what they want to do, but they don't want to take on that responsibility that comes with those decisions they make. They want to have their cake and eat it too. That's what it basically is. A lack of accountability. And like they say, accountability is like kryptonite to these modern women. It really is. Am I not speaking the truth? Like, what did I say that's not truthful so far? Because I've yet to be anyone that can refute any of the points I make. Are we adults at the end of the day? Don't we have the choice to make certain? Don't we have the ability to make certain logical choices and decisions in our life that could alter our outcome? If we are out here and we are indulging in certain activities, let's say you're drinking a lot. There's a chance of you having a liver problem, right? If you're doing something that's harmful to your body, smoking, drinking, things like that, that's very bad for your health. There's going to be consequences for those decisions, right? So you got to be responsible as an adult to make sure that you don't put yourself in those type of predicament. Same thing when it comes into women. They got to be held responsible for their decisions. If they don't want to have a child, either have safe sex or don't even have sex at all. Or settle down with a good quality man and start a family. But do these women want to start a family with a good quality man? Majority of them don't. Honestly, at this point, it's not. These modern women, I don't see how they can be changed, because their mind has been destroyed. Let me tell you what's going on. The thought culture that is completely just ruined these women thinking. They think they can be like men. They could sleep with and the thing too, when a woman sleeps with more than one man, she doesn't have the ability to be, what's the word? To be locked down with one man, because she's not gonna have a soul tie with that man, because she have multiple spirits that she taken on from other men. So there's not gonna be a chance to peer bond with her. So that's number one. Number two, there's another point I wanted to make, but I can't remember what I was gonna say. There's another point I wanted to say about what's causing the talk culture. Feminism. We got third wave feminism, and then you got the Me Too era now. So a woman can claim false rape allegation against you, and claim that you did whatever you want, and she could literally play the victim. A woman can decide that she wants to sleep with you, and next moment she feel like she's been violated for whatever reason, and claim that you raped her. And all this stuff is just literally destroying the mind of these women. So now it's like majority of these women, I just see they're not even worth having a family or starting a family with, because their mind is not, it's not where it needs to be. It's corrupted. It's not. You get what I'm saying? Like, am I the only one that feels like this? So this is just the way I see it. Things needs to change. There's still a lot of things that needs to change, but this is a good step in the right direction. And I really believe, you know, in due timing, people gonna have to accept reality for what it is. Stop playing games with life. Life is not a game. You know what I mean? You cannot go out there and sleep with and decide you want to go out there and test the field, and then when you end up getting shot in the leg or something, I'm just being, sentimental here, just like using an example. When you end up getting in yourself in a situation you don't want to get out of, you got nobody to blame but yourself. You made that decision to put yourself in that predicament. So you gotta live with that, with the results. You gotta live with the results. And then people bring up the point of rape. Like, what about women that have been raped? They should have a right to decide to abort the child. And I look up the statistics, and the percentage of women who have babies due to a rape is very small, like very very small, like less than 1% of cases of women who are pregnant are conceived during rape, as a result of rape. Well, my issue is this: even if it's so-called rape is the case, a child can be adopted and given to a loving family. But it's like we're making a small exception and making that into a rule. Majority of women out here are just literally don't want to take on the responsibility of being a mother. You know, it really is like it comes down to being responsible and making sure that you put yourself in a position where you don't just sleep around with any type of man. But I digress. You guys have any comment or any thoughts you want to share? What you guys agree, disagree? What you guys think about what I said? I really, I rest my case. I have more things I want to say, but this point is just, I think I've said the most things, the majority of the things that I wanted to put out there. I already said. You guys have any thoughts? Anything that you guys want to add on to what I was saying? You guys agree or disagree with what I was saying? Because I don't understand how people can be in their feelings about something like this. It's just common sense. If you don't want to have a child, don't fucking sleep with any. Just sleep around. You know what I mean? Am I saying something that is wrong? Because I've had debates with people all over, and no one. I mean, I have people that agree with me, but then I have people who disagree with me, and they get emotional. Grown men, like I had debates with grown men, and it's like I'm talking to a woman. They get emotional because they're like, a woman's supposed to decide what goes on, what happens in their body. It's nobody's business what they decide to do with their body. But I find it very funny that a man can't don't have no say in what a woman can do with his own child, because it takes two to make a child. It's not only her that played a part or a role in creating that life. So how is it that she can have complete say and complete power over what happens to that baby? That's don't you find that very absurd? That she have complete authority and power over what happens to that baby? Because she's not the only one who played a role in creating that life. You need a sperm and an egg to form together to create a zygote. The zygote develops into an embryo, and the embryo, it gets attached to the uterine wall. Then after it gets attached to the uterine wall, it undergoes mitosis, where it develops and multiply into multiple cells, creates a blastoid. I forgot the name of it. And it's like that cell eventually grow, and then it forms a fetus where a child ends up becoming conceived. There's a process that goes into creating that child. But before that child even conceived in the womb, it takes two people to come together to create that life? Why is it that only women have a say in what happens to that child? How is that even considered a fair thing? A father can be like, "Oh, I want to step up to the plate and be the father in that child's life," and the woman could say, "No, I don't want to bring that child to full term," and there's nothing he can do about it. You know how many fathers out there are devastated because they wanted to be a father? They were actually excited. They couldn't look for, they were like, they couldn't wait to be a father. They were looking forward to that opportunity to be a father and step up to the plate and help that child and show the child the rope. And the mom was vindictive to him. Whatever reason she had, whatever she had against him, she's like, to get at him, I'm gonna abort the child. How is that even fair? Isn't that very even that's so evil? A woman can just say, I don't want to bring the child to full term, even though the father has the resources. You know how many I've heard stories of how many fathers have resources, have full-time jobs, have everything they could ask you could ask for to create a good and safe environment for that child to prosper, and the mom, for whatever reason, she's spiteful, because he moved on, he started family, or he's not with her anymore. To get back at him, she aborted his child. And he has no say, no control over that. How is that fair? It's so funny how when it comes down to this decision, it's all about her, what the women feel, what her needs are, but it's not about the man and what he feels. It's like, it's ridiculous to me. It doesn't make any logical sense. You know what I mean? So, what else can I say? I rest my case. I really said what I had to say. Um, for whoever's watching, thank you for watching. See how you guys like the comment. But I'll be posting more often. Like, I think got more stuff that I want to talk about. There's more topics that I want to address, but I just find it very hypocritical that you got these modern women out here protesting and talking about my body, my choice, and it's not, the government don't have a say in what I can do with my own body. It's my constitutional right to decide that I can murder a baby in my womb. I have nothing to say. I'm lost for words. The sense of entitlement with these women is ridiculous. The sense of entitlement with these women is ridiculous, yo. They don't want to help me. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I really gotta say it. They don't want to be held accountable for nothing they do. How can it be your body, your choice, but you're not the only one that create that child? It can't be your body, your choice anymore. Oh man. I rest this video. I'm done. I had enough. This is I've finished. I'm finished with this. I said what I had to say. Like, comment, and subscribe, and also make sure to donate to my Cash App, $beingresilient. I'll post it in the title of the video, and be on the lookout for more videos. And I'm gonna be posting more frequently because there's a lot of topics I want to address that needs to be out there. I rest my case. Thank you for watching, and have a good night. Bye. All right, that's one video down.